When I really fell in love with lifting weights was when I was in the Marine Corps. I was like, I'm 175 pounds, getting out of boot camp. I'm gonna bulk up. I bulked up in like a year and a half to 250. And so I was like,
how did you do that, by the way? I mean, what was
like a madman, dude.
Are you sure you're not a little autistic? Because that's me. Welcome to the Coach 'em Up podcast. My name is Tim Riley. Zach Zillner is not with us today. Friendly reminder, if you've been around, you've seen the show a few times, you know what's coming. There are two types of people on this planet. There are subscribers and there are non-subscribers. For all my subscribers, people who have been with us for a while, maybe you've only recently subscribed, thank you. It keeps the show free. It helps us out a ton, and it's no sweat off your back. To all my non-subscribers, and there are many of you, we have analytics. We don't have an analytics department. I am in the analytics department, but I see everything, and I know many of you watch the show, which we appreciate, but also many of you watch the show, engage with the show, but you're not subscribed, and that's fucking crazy. You don't have to keep living this way. Do right by your friends and family. Do the right thing. Subscribe to the show. Join us. Come join the winning side. And we'll love you forever and ever. Okay, so now that all that's out of the way, I am so thrilled to have Alan Thrall on the show with us today. Alan, what's up, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm good, dude. Thank you for being willing to make the trip down here to Austin, Texas and hang out with me. Unfortunately, I had so much planned for us. I was ready to throw some iron around and, do some jumps and sprints and just get a proper workout in. But I have mono. I have an adolescent kissing disease. So he's got the mask.
This is news to me. This is for my safety. So just continue as normal, please.
Oh shit. That was top tier. Incredible. So listen, and that's the other bummer too, admittedly, there will be far less kissing than I initially anticipated. So for all of our viewers, not just our listeners, I'm also sorry for that. But yeah, my girlfriend, dude, she, it had been laying dormant and it cropped up and, we had a date night. What can I say? And she was sick. She got results back and voila, your boy.
Both of you have it.
But we both have mono. Yeah. Yeah. Big mono family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm surprised more people in my gym don't have mono. Just not because they kiss each other.
I was about to say, what? This gym has really evolved.
wearing mouth guards. And then they like take it out and put it on like a surface or like stone platform or something. They put it back in their mouth. And isn't that how mono spread is just?
It is.
From your
yeah.
mouth,
it's a saliva mucus driven situation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, dude, we were talking off camera and I've been following you in one form or another for many years. And so it's very cool to be sitting here now with you. And,
dude, there's, I'm going to interrupt you. There's only one, I'm serious. I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
But this is the only podcast I think that if I was invited to and you said, but you got to get on a plane to get here. Mm-hmm. That's the only one I would have said yes to.
Wow.
I'm serious.
Dude, thank you.
I follow it. I like it. You're solid.
That means a lot. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not trying to make you blush.
No, I mean, I am, but I really appreciate that. Those are very kind words. I know I asked you off air. I was like, do you listen to the show? You're like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's nice to hear. I love that.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I've been a fan for a long time. And so to be able to have you here is really, really cool. And for the people, I'm assuming most people listening to this show, they're going to know precisely who you are. For the people who don't, who the fuck is Alan Thrall, man? How'd you get started? How'd you end up here? Give us your backstory.
Well, I mean, the quick blurb would be I'm a gym owner. I own Untamed Strength Gym in Sacramento, California. It's a strongman, powerlifting, just general strength training gym. I'm a husband and a father, and and I'm here. And a lot of people, I guess, who don't go to the gym know me from the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that would be the quick of who I am.
I can, even when you mention your YouTube, so Untamed Strength is the YouTube channel. And I can even see the squatting figure in my mind when you say it. Man, when did you start the YouTube channel? What year? Do you remember?
Yeah. So I was posting YouTube videos while I was in the Marine Corps. So this would have been like 2009, 2010. But it was just, like a box jump or a set of squats or something. It was just, that's all it was. And it would just say like 315 times something. Like that's all the video was. It was like a log, a training log. But I started posting videos when I had opened the gym and I had my own camera, went to Best Buy, got like a software, editing software thing, CD-ROM, edited some videos and started putting up highlight videos of the gym. And then eventually it just got into posting actual videos for YouTube, not just for my own training or for the gym. And so that was as early as, it would have been 2013 to 14 when I opened the gym.
Man, watching the growth that you had on YouTube has been wild, and it's really cool to see. And certainly like there was a period of time where it was like your content. And I think it was like, I want to say during that time, let's see, I got sober around 2015. So I was definitely consuming your content before, but I was partying way too much to actually train seriously or like consistently, But I remember, I think it was like 2016, I was like, it was like your stuff. And I was like, it was like a lot of Mark Ripto.
Yeah.
And then it would have been like, all the other kind of like ancillary stuff. I think I was like Athlete X, just like there was like a lot of YouTube. Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot Holst.
Yes, dude.
So 2015, 16 was like peak YouTube.
Yes.
Strength training instruction and stuff like that.
Yes.
Especially for my channel. Yeah.
Man, what a golden era. You know, how cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit like, what it was like? Because you started several years before that. So when you started creating content for the YouTube page for the gym, like what was the motivation behind that? And then tell me a little bit about like what it started as and then like kind of what it turned into, because you didn't go into it expecting that.
No, not at all. So when I first started the gym, I had exhausted pretty much all forms of marketing at the time. I was trying to just tell people about the gym. I went to my old high school, talked to football coaches. Hey, I got a gym I'm opening up. I would make these postcards for the gym and I'd put them in a little plastic baggie with rocks at the bottom. And my brothers and I would drive around my truck and we'd like throw it onto people's driveways. just advertising
awesome.
the gym like that.
Yeah.
And I got, after I had done all that stuff and I was like, this is going to be it, these postcards, and I got 2 phone calls from those postcards and both of them were people pissed off that I was throwing trash on them. So it didn't work at all. And so I was trying.
If anything, it made people hate you.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, dang, I just spent like a couple $100 like doing this,
Just be like, hey, it's like people like they go get their mail in the morning. You're like, hey, did some dickhead throw a from Untamed
So
Strength?
upset that they called the number just to tell me to come pick up the trash. And so I had done, I had exhausted all of this. And there were a lot of people before I had opened, when I tell people about it, they were always like, sign me up. I can't wait to sign up. And they don't follow through.
100%.
And so anyways, once I was out of ideas, like I've done pretty much all that I can do right now. Social media wasn't that big. I had a Facebook page, but I might post something that gets like 15 likes or something.
Right.
And so I had said, what I'm going to do every morning when I was just out of ideas, I wrote down 3 things I'm going to do today to try and grow the business.
What was the inspiration behind that?
I'm sure it was a book that I was reading, like a self-help or success book of writing down things that you're prioritizing. And so each day I would just write like this to-do list.
There's a lot of power in that.
And and there were times when I would just sit there in the morning like I don't know what to do. But at one point I wrote down that I'm going to create some sort of instructional video. So in a sense, I was gonna, if I had someone in the gym with me, because I had a bunch of time, like hardly any members, no personal training. And so I thought if I just pretend like I'm teaching someone how to squat or how to deadlift or bench press or overhead press, if I was to teach them, I'll just kind of make a video about it and I'll post that online. And it wasn't because I was going to post it and everyone was going to see it or it was going to go viral, or it was just maybe someone in the area will stumble upon this random YouTube video and then come sign up for a gym membership.
Yep.
And so that's when I had started doing the instructional videos. And there weren't many on YouTube. There were some, but there weren't many on YouTube at the time. And if there was, it was like how to squat. And it would just be a guy standing in his gym or a warehouse, just 20 minutes of him talking, no cuts, no edits, very boring. And so I was like, I'm kind of an artistic dude. And so not autistic, but artistic dude.
Not to be confused here.
And so I was like, I kind of want to
between the U and the R. Yeah, just to be clear. Yeah.
So I said, I want to edit this the same way that it works in my brain. Like if I was talking to someone in person, like, hey, this is what you do with your feet. Look at my feet. I'm going to show you. So I was like, I'm going to do this B-roll type stuff. If I talk about the feet, I'm going to do a video of the feet. The bar placement, I'm going to zoom in on the bar on my back and all this kind of stuff. And so that was the style I was going for. And it was nice at the time to know nobody's really watching this because I could make stupid jokes or like, do a squat depth, like squat down like you're taking a dump in the woods. And I would just like, I'm going to record that. And so I would just make these videos and post them on YouTube. It wasn't until I posted the how to squat video, that one really blew up. So I remember I was at a 4th of July swim party, barbecue. And my phone at the time, my email notifications were set to alert me. So like a text message. And so when you get a subscriber, Tim, subscribe to your YouTube channel, I get a notification that says that.
Nice.
Anyways, I go check my phone and it's like it won't, it's loading. And it's like, won't click and nothing can click. And anyways, I thought it was overheating or something. So I just left it alone. The alert notification goes off 5 minutes later. And my email icon, there's like 5,000 notifications. And so I click on it and I see all these people, it says subscribe to your YouTube channel, all these people.
Holy shit.
And I'm scrolling it. And that was my first thought was, oh shit. I felt like I did something wrong.
Yeah.
Like I was like, what did I do? I didn't realize, it was the video I posted, so I'm like, oh, what did I do? And I did some digging. And someone had told me that that how to squat video was shared on the front page of Reddit, which was really, really popular at the time. And so I'm like, dang, this is cool. But honestly, like my thought going after that was like, I already posted how to squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press. What am I supposed to do now? Like, you're subscribed to me. What am I going to do now? So it was never with the intent of like, I want to pull these people in so I can sell something or so I can do anything like that. But then it just went from there. I was like, I can post some other stuff I like talking about, or I can do any sort of like 3 tips for not getting depth. How do you get better depth or something like that? So I can just endlessly keep making instructional videos. And I think the timing was the most important. Like being in 2000, this would have been 14 or 15
about that, dude.
Yeah. So if I was to like erase everything and do everything the same now, no way it would go anywhere. But it was just the timing that there weren't many people doing that. And I'm not saying that I was the first, because off the top of my head, Johnny Candido has a how to squat video, and I'm pretty sure that was before mine. But for whatever reason, this one just got really popular.
Yeah.
And so I think the information era on YouTube for strength training was just booming at the time.
Yep.
And I was a part of that. So that helped with the growth of the YouTube channel. It was like, wow, like I don't need to pay for a personal trainer. Like I got information right here. Whereas before you might get information from a magazine or something like that. So yeah, I think the timing was what really helped it.
I think you're spot on. Timing is such an underrated, underlook. I mean, it's, in hindsight, it's always 2020, of course, but like being at the right place at the right time, in these moments where, the spark is just beginning, like societally, and something particularly like social media. I mean, it can be meteoric what can happen if you're in the right niche at the right time, doing the right thing. But I gotta say, we can't give too much credit to timing, though, Alan, because you did a very good job, and you also identified that this is something that could be done better, right? Like here's what we're working with. Here's what I'm going to do. And that, I'm glad you mentioned the humor bit, because that's what drew me in. I was like, first of all, this guy's fucking strong. Okay. Like, so that box is checked in my mind. I'm like, this guy gets it. Your ability to take information and make it very simple and no nonsense and no bullshit, for lack of a better term, was very refreshing, because at that time, to your point, there was so many of those videos were insufferable to watch. Even for that time, it was like, fucking hell. Like, we're 20 minutes in. What's this guy yapping about? And then you're fucking funny, man. Like the analogies you would use, because there was also at that time this very like, it was very, like educational based. Like there wasn't a lot of personality or any, there was no color. And you did and still continue to do such a wonderful job of that. So yeah, timing, yes, but also kind of who you are, and then that creative side of you. It was, I feel like, the cross section between all of those things. So okay, it blows up. Here's my next question, because by the way, shout out autism everywhere. Many of our coaches, many of our listeners are not only artistic, but also autistic. And that seems to be a thread in the strength and conditioning community.
Yeah,
so
dude,
we see you.
Strongman,
yeah, that's right. Now, who said that quote? Because there's a very strong person. And I forget who it is. And he was asked on a podcast, he's like, what are the qualities that you need to be an elite strength athlete? And his response was gear and autism.
Yeah, dude. I think that what really shined the spotlight on it was Tom Stoltman, who was world's strongest man.
Okay.
And so anyways, and he is autistic.
Got it.
Yeah. If you just think of like, the definition, I don't know a lot about autism, but like the definition that makes sense in my head is like, leave me alone. Let me do my thing.
Yes.
And like, if the strength is your thing, then you're going to run with it.
Yeah, you're going to be really good at that. It's like, is it trains? You know what I mean? Is it collecting rocks?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what. Let's go have a look.
Yeah. Picking up rocks. Okay. You're halfway there.
Okay. Now we're on to something. Yeah. It's like, well, I started off picking up these little ones. I just thought, why not pick up big ones? Anyway, we love you. Shout out autism. So, this happens. I'm interested to know, because your initial purpose was to try and promote the gym. Did you see any immediate return on that? Or did you just kind of say like, you know what, like this was pretty cool. Let me see where I can take this. What was like the next step in the process? Yeah.
So it was just, okay, I'm going to keep making videos, but still trying to advertise the gym, because it wasn't monetized at the start. It wasn't for a while.
Oh, that's right.
It could have been, but I didn't know how to do that. And so I was just, I didn't,
Yeah.
But anyways, one of the members of the gym, Punch Nugget is his not his birth name, but he goes by Punch Nugget.
Shout out Punch Nugget.
Shout out Punch Nugget. And he had YouTube videos. He would just do different types of YouTube videos, but he had ads on him. And he was like, hey, you should put ads on your videos. This was like, years down the road, probably a couple years down the road. And I said, I don't want to put like a commercial on the front of my videos. And he's like, well, you can get paid for it. And I was like, oh, all right. And so I'm thinking like new equipment.
Yeah.
I can finally buy this new bar.
Yes.
Like that. I was like, dang, okay. I could buy a new yoke or new circus dumbbell. And so anyways, he had helped me like set that up. And at the time it was very easy, but I got sucked into something else. But you could just enter in your email address and then boom, videos would be up. So eventually it got monetized. But anyways, your question about like, what was the initial question? Like, how this kind of grew into.
Yeah. So you have this eruption and it's like, did you see any direct correlation to, it's like, oh, this is actually helping my in-person gym business. Or was it just entirely like, hey, that was kind of a fun experiment. Let me see what else I can keep doing.
So I continued making the videos, but it wasn't really translating into memberships because people aren't like in the area watching the videos. It might be someone like worldwide,
100%.
And I couldn't do anything with that. And I would eventually start to try to do stuff like I tried to sell t-shirts, but what I ended up doing was I didn't know how to sell t-shirts. And so I was like, trying to take care of the shipping myself. And so I'd ship shirts to like Sweden. And it was like, and so I'd take these shirts and I'd ship them out and it'd be like $27 to ship. And I just lost money. Like, so I'm losing a bunch of money. So I tried to like do stuff like that. It didn't work. But eventually, the YouTube channel was so much bigger than the gym. Like, not in terms of financially, but in terms of like, had a whole, you know, maybe 100, I don't know the exact numbers, but I had maybe 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And like, you know, just a handful of members at the gym. And there were people who would travel from different countries to come to the gym just to train. I remember the first guy came from France. His name was Vivian. He came to the gym. He stayed down the street, some whatever rinky-dink hotel.
Right.
And he just, every morning, he would just train with me for a week. You know, and I just imagine him walking into the first gym. Like, it's just a tiny little room with a couple pieces of equipment. Just looking around like, you know, he didn't think this, he didn't say this, but I'm just, you know, guessing that he was like, this is what I came here for? Like, this is, but not that he gave off that vibe or anything.
Traveled halfway around the world.
Yeah, but people think like, oh, this is like some sort of like mecca. You know,
right.
They come to the gym, it's just this little like warehouse tucked off in the back of a suburb.
Yeah.
And so the YouTube channel was much bigger than the gym. Once I could start getting some money, like I started selling a couple programs.
Nice.
That made some money. So I started getting money from monetization. I was able to put that back in the gym and buy more equipment. And that started to translate into more memberships. Okay. Like, one example I always think about is once I finally bought a good barbell. I actually just mentioned this in one of my YouTube videos, but once I finally purchased a good barbell, I had like cheap old barbells that I found on Craigslist. But once I bought like a Ohio power bar, a new good knurling, just a good barbell.
Yeah.
An actual weightlifting bar. And I had in the gym, one guy walked in the gym. He walks in, he's wearing a tracksuit. He's got two women walking behind him. And he's walking in the gym and I'm like, who is this guy? You know?
Who the fuck is this?
And he's like, you have any power bars? And I'm like, damn right. I'm like, I do. Check it out. Show him his bar's brand new. Like, no chalk on it. He's like, you know, feeling the knurling, looks at the end cap, and he's like, I want to sign all three of us up. He was a powerlifting coach. And he's like, I want to sign all three of us up. And I had like 3 people signing up for membership in one day. I was like, I am buying more equipment. So that's when it started to carry over into actually growing the gym.
For your space, has that been the thing that you've noticed that makes the biggest difference or the most impact is
equipment?
Yeah, the equipment itself.
I think so at the start. So the nice thing about Strongman is you can equip your gym with all things Strongman and have a badass gym, and it's just hardly any money. Like, it's concrete stones, tires you found used,
right?
Sandbags that you don't even have to buy a sandbag for. You can just get like a duffel bag from a military store.
Nice.
You can buy, or you can make a bunch of this junk and have a fully stocked gym. And once I started realizing that people were coming to the gym more for Strongman, I had ran with that and said, like, I'm Sacramento's only Strongman gym. You're not going to find any Strongman equipment anywhere else.
Nice.
Whereas when I first started, like my first little business cards, it was like powerlifting, Strongman, CrossFit. I don't think I put CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting, athletic training, sports specific.
We got
I just
it
put
all.
everything. Yeah. But really, it was none of that. It just, you know what I mean? But once I started realizing that, okay, this is a pretty good Strongman gym, I'm just going to advertise as that, like a Strongman, Sacramento's only Strongman gym. And that seemed to help. So once I kind of targeted my audience, that seemed to help. So equipment did help. And then later on, yes, having certain things like good bars set me apart from a commercial gym. I can't go toe to toe with a commercial gym. Like, I don't have showers. I don't have a pool. I don't have all that, you know, I don't have a sauna. I don't have a smoothie bar. I don't have all that stuff.
Right.
But I can have good bars that maybe a commercial gym doesn't have. And then certain little pieces of equipment that most gyms don't have. And it doesn't mean it's a $5,000 machine, one of the nicest machines, but it might be like something simple like a reverse hyper, which a lot of commercial gyms don't have.
True.
Something like a GHD, which like for you is like pretty common, but for, you know, California Family Fitness, no, they don't have that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I could get these pieces of equipment that weren't that expensive that just set me apart. And so that's what I tried to run with.
The Coach 'em Up podcast has partnered with Eleiko.
Let's go.
Not only is Eleiko found in 85% of Power 5 schools, but they also offer at-home solutions from racks, flooring, rigs, barbells, bumper plates, your favorite accessories like straps and weightlifting belts, you name it, Eleiko's got you covered. Go to eleiko.com/coachemup and get access to the same equipment that they're using in the best facilities with the best athletes on the planet. This episode is brought to you by friend of the show, David Gray of David Gray Rehab, creator of the absolute game-changing foot, ankle, and Achilles program. To date, it's helped over 8,000 people, including Zach and myself, get back to running, jumping, and playing pain-free. This program isn't just for athletes, it's also been used by coaches and physios in the NFL, NBA, and Premier League, as well as every other major sport. And if that wasn't impressive enough, you can get the full program 15% off lifetime access when you click the link in the show notes and use code TIM at checkout. Now, back to the show. You touched on a couple things around growing the YouTube channel and then eventually offering some online programs and stuff. Were these like in the form of PDF?
Yeah.
So again, about timing. Mm-hmm. So at that time, that was just becoming a real thing, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And there weren't many awesome options out there. Like there was like Wendler's 531, mm-hmm. There was, Ripto's situation. There were a few other PDFs out there that I'm just not bringing into my mind with sufficient force. I'll blame it on the mono. But did you crush with those PDF programs?
I think so.
You see, yeah, I would imagine you sold quite a few because your YouTube was so large at that time. And then also too, like there was such a vacuum and frankly a desperate need because the only other way you were going to get a program is if you went on like fucking T-Nation or bodybuilding.com.
Yeah, or something.
100%.
Yeah.
What was it like programming and building out that first program to sell to a lot of people? Take us through that process.
I don't remember much of it other than it was easy. Like,
really?
Well, because I had a website guy at the time, so I tried to I originally made my own website. Brutal. And man, it was terrible, especially in 2013. And so I made my own website, and I didn't know how to have like spam blockers. So like, I remember one lady came. She said she wanted to sign up for the gym, but she was like, "But I'm not gonna like enter in any sort of card information on that website because it was just like spammed with like sex bots and like like I'm serious because it was like a WordPress website and you could put comments on it or something like that, and so like it was just spam comments and then it's like a link to sign up and they're like, I'm not signing up on this.
Signing up on this.
So I did some personal training with the guy.
Enter your card information right here next to the sex bot comment.
Yeah. It was I did personal training with a guy named David, who is a website designer.
Okay.
And he was like, hey man, I looked at your website. It sucks. And like, he was like, can we trade some personal training sessions for, I'll do your website. And I was like, yes, please. So he redid the website. And he was a part of what helped me with he was like, I don't remember what format I put it on, but like just Microsoft Word or something, like just write this program out. I'll format it and post it. Because before that, I was selling the programs, but get this, it wasn't automated because I didn't know how to do that. It was pay for it
and you email it
through a PayPal link, and then I'll check and I'll send it to you.
Oh my God.
So it was like, I had to be like on my computer all the time. Not that I was getting like that many, but like I had to check it all the time. I was just worried. Like, I don't want this guy waiting. It wasn't like a immediate delivery. So David helped me out with that. But yeah, so he definitely helped me with all that stuff. Yeah, and then I eventually got rid of the programs and went to more online coaching and programming. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's how that went.
So the gym officially opened what year?
2013.
Okay.
September 2013. This month is the celebration of the 12 years.
Whoa, man.
12 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, dude.
That's a monumental success. I don't know, I would assume a good amount of our listeners understand, like most gyms don't make it more than like 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, like if I was to think in 2013, like, hey, think about where you're going to be in 12 years. I'd be like, dude, I have no idea. I can't even fathom.
Yes.
Like not that I didn't think I would be there, but like, I got no idea. Like I'm worried about this month.
Yes.
So it's cool to be able to look back at all that.
If you were to go back in time and you had a chance to give Alan, 2013 Alan, some advice regarding the gym, what would be that advice?
Dude, nothing like stands out. I could think of something. Nothing stands out because I don't think I made any huge mistakes. I have one thing, but like any huge mistakes, because any experience, good and bad, you learn from it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything that I was like, man, I should not have done that, or I should have done this, or I wish I knew this, because it's just been an evolution of learning all that stuff. It's the exact same thing with training. When people say like, oh, when you were, bulked up to 250 or something, like, do you regret bulking like that, or do you regret going all in on this and that? Like, no, because I've learned a ton from it.
Sure.
And it's just chapters of life. But if I was to go back, the one piece of practical advice at the start is figure out who you want to market to and run with that. Because like I said, I was like, any person, I'll take anyone. I don't care. I want anyone to sign up for the gym. But what that does is it leaves the person kind of confused. It's like, what exactly is this gym? What do you exactly offer?
Sure.
And then it's not fulfilling for me, because I don't want, like, at the time I was like very much barbell training, strength training, strongman. That's who I want to work with. But I didn't advertise it as that. And I would like work with, like older women who were like, I don't really like barbells and stuff. And I'm like, all I got in this gym is barbells.
That's
That's what we're doing.
This is called an Ohio bar, lady, and you better get used to it.
We got squat racks and barbells. Like, that's all we can do, So advertise it as that,
Yeah.
But it was a little while before I realized, like, okay, strongman seems to be the thing that I'm good at, or this gym is good at, something that I can actually offer. So I ran with that, and that I think continued to grow the gym. So if I was hosting a competition, or I would do strongman Saturdays, it was just getting a good turnout. And so that's when it kind of clicked, like, all right, you need to figure out who you're talking to and then run with that. So that would be the most practical piece of advice.
Something that I've been very vocal about how important I think it is, and this is my own bias, but walking the walk. And there's something so, in this profession in particular, so important about actually training or doing the thing that you're trying to either educate or ask other people to do, having gone through it yourself, or at least be actively trying to figure it out. Over the course of the time that I've been following you, I've watched you kind of go through these different transformations of your training style and like what things you're focused on. And you've done a lot, dude. Like, strongman, powerlifting, weightlifting. And then now when I look up and I see a lot of your content and training, like, I'm seeing way more plyos and hops, and just like, it's been fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I guess part of what I'm saying is, like, kudos to you for constantly being curious and wanting to learn and being willing to change and adapt. I think it's so easy for someone in your position too.
Yeah.
To have a ton of success doing one thing one way. Right. And to just cling to that for dear life, for fear of losing the thing that got you to the place where you're at. But not you, man. You have actively sought out new and exciting challenges. So I would love to talk a little bit about what that's looked like. Tell me about your progression, and then let's dig into kind of each chapter of your training career, and like, what are some of the things that you've learned, and what are some of the takeaways?
Yeah, I think that anything I've ever done or pursued was 100% for me. It was like at its core what I wanted to do. And that started, if we go all the way back to high school, but after that, I would say when I really fell in love with lifting weights and programming and training, more so than just like I did it for sports, in high school, but was when I was in the Marine Corps. And so you're thinking early 20s, right? Young male trying to kind of figure out who he is, identity. And that was it. That was what I wanted to do. So I wanted to like transform myself. I was like, I'm 175 pounds getting out of boot camp. I'm going to bulk up. I bulked up in like a year and a half to 250. And so I was like,
how did you do that, by the way? What was
like a fucking madman, dude.
Are you sure you're not a little autistic? Because that's
I think that honestly, being in your 20s, like you just I don't know, like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Whether it's like I'm gonna like make money, or I'm gonna go all in on powerlifting, or this one thing, or you just really get attached to this identity and maybe this tribe. Sometimes it's not a good identity or a good tribe. Sometimes it is. And my thing was like, I want to be big. I want to be the big, strong lifter. Like that's all I want to do. That's all I want to talk about. That's all I want people to know me for.
Yep.
I want to go all in on that. And so that was what my thing was like in my early 20s and getting out of the Marine Corps. So much so that I was like, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to open a gym. Like there's no question about it. This is all I want to do. I don't have a plan B. I can't think of anything else.
It's awesome.
And so that's what I was all in on. And that was, had to do with strongman and with powerlifting. And I just looked up to that type of person, and that eventually, it stayed like that for probably like 10 years. I don't think it really changed. Maybe I would do a little more strongman, a little more powerlifting, but it really didn't change until I had my son, who was born in 2019. And, I think a lot changes. Well, maybe it was just time went by as I aged.
Yep.
Maybe it was just life circumstances change. But a couple things I think changed my direction a little bit was when I had my son, training had to change a little bit, at least for the first like 6 months to a year.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I was like so all in on powerlifting, like every training session, every meal, like everything was locked in. And now I can't really do that as well just because I got a newborn in the house. Maybe it's just a few months, but.
Did you struggle with that transition just like personally from the training side? Like, did you have a hard time? Because I've had conversations with people who, like you and myself, when I'm really dialed in or focused on something and life shows up, no matter what it is, it can be really hard to transition from being completely dialed all the way in and doing things one way for so long and transitioning. Did you struggle with that transition?
Not too much. I think that was in my favor. I have been all in on things, again, like I said, for me. And the second I have an itch of like, I don't really want to do this anymore, I'm going to move on. Not that I'm going to totally drop it.
Yes.
Like I still do powerlifting and strongman just as much, but it's just not taken as seriously as it was.
Sure.
And my thing when I had my son was, all right, I can't really do these like 3.5 hour training sessions, squat, bench, deadlift. I'm serious. I can't really do these anymore. So I got to adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was like a force that I had to, be okay with. And then I don't need to eat like an asshole. Like I don't need to eat 8,000 calories a day because I'm not training as much.
Right.
And I just realized, I remember literally sitting in my son's room. I think I just got him, dressed in his PJs, sent him on his way, whatever it was. And I'm sitting in his room. I'm looking in his mirror, like above his changing table. And I don't have a shirt on. And I'm like, you look like shit. And so I'm like, I'm eating all this food.
Yeah, not
for
really
what,
training.
dude?
Yeah.
Like I'm eating all this food. So at that point I was like, I think I'm going to shed some pounds.
Yeah.
So I just made a couple of adjustments and I went from 255 was my heaviest to 215.
Whoa.
In like a course of a year when my son was born January to December. Just making some small adjustments. And it was easy at the time because I was eating so much. Like just don't eat as much. And then my training just changed a little bit. And I had to realize that this isn't all or nothing. Like just because I can't do peak for a powerlifting meet doesn't mean I can't train. So I just had to make an adjustment. And it's been like that with everything. As far as any changes I've gone through, like weight loss. Are people going to think, I'm not the big 250 pound strongman or powerlifter? I don't care. Same with the hair and the beard. How many times did I get like, dude, you cut your hair and your beard. Aren't you worried about like subscribers dropping off or people? That's your brand. That's your thing. And I'm like, you think I'm going to leave my haircut and my beard just because other people want it? How silly is that, dude? And people would ask when I had my hair, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I said, I want 3 things. I want a gym, a beard, and a ponytail. Nothing's going to change that.
Legend.
And then
fucking
and
priorities,
people would say,
baby.
do you think you're ever going to cut your hair? You ever think you're going to cut your beard? And I'd say, I don't know, but I'm not thinking about that. Like if it happens, it happens.
Right.
And then in 9 years, it never popped into my head. It finally popped into my head. I think I'm ready to get rid of this hair and beard. And I was like, I'm going to sleep on this. I'll give it a couple weeks.
Yeah.
For a couple weeks every day, I was like, I want to cut the hair and beard. So it was like, once I was ready to do it,
was
get
time.
rid of it. And people were like, can you grow your hair and beard back? And I'm like, probably not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if I do, cool.
Yeah.
So I've just kind of viewed my training like that. It's the same as like, I kind of want to start running again. This is pretty pathetic that I can't like do everyday things or I can't like go shuffle a mile without my back hurting. Like I'm this gym owner, like this is my life. This is fitness. I can't like play with my son or like do anything like that. Like I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Because I do zero conditioning, and I've made videos about like, oh, conditioning is a waste of time. I kind of like memed it or joked it, like, what a waste of time. Don't do any running. So I'm like, okay, I've like teased running for so long. I can't start running now. But like I'm at the same point. I'm like, I don't care. Like I do want to start it.
Yep.
So I'm going to start it. So I think that just being like somewhat self-aware, honest with myself has helped make those transitions easier. So yeah, dude, it's just really easy to get locked into an identity, either how you identify or however everyone else identifies you. And it's like, just cut that off.
There's also this weird thing where it's like I've seen it where people get locked into their perception of what they think other people perceive them as.
Yeah. And they probably don't care.
It's like, dude, life is too short.
Yeah. Or if you posted something like, let's say you posted some sort of transformation pic and, there's like, whatever, 10,000 people who see it and they're like, dang, good on him. But then there's like 10 comments of people trashing you.
Yeah.
And you just focus on that.
Zeke's still mid.
Yeah. And so you're like, damn, people are just hating this, roasting me. But it's like, it's just that's what rises to the top is just a couple of negative comments.
Yeah.
When the majority of people are probably like, attaboy.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's it.
I have a mentor and he said this for many years and I find it to be brilliant. Hopefully other people find this helpful, but the saying goes is that what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's really and here's the God's honest truth. To the precise extent that you think people are thinking about you, they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. Even that person that left that comment, that was just almost certainly a spur of the moment. They're just like, look like dog shit. And then that's it. They didn't even, that's it. It's there and it's gone. It's dead to them. They're on to the next reel to do whatever it is that they're going to do.
Yeah.
But growing up, I mean, I remember spending a lot of time, and I think this is part of the human experience, wondering what other people think of me. I did. And now I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really did.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm thankful for that. Like I just always have been just doing my own thing. And yeah, it feels good. Like at the end of the night, at the end of the day, you lay your head on the pillow. And if you know that you're doing what you want to do, or you're making decisions, or you're being true to yourself, or you're being honest, if someone else thinks it's not what you should be doing, or they think you're lying, or they think you're someone else, it's like, it's not the truth. So I'm not going to dwell on it,
Yes.
So yeah. But thankfully, like growing up, I've always just been not to myself, but I've just never really cared about like what other people are doing, just like doing what I like doing. So, yeah.
So
even just like on that topic, like even in high school, like just so many like trends that people would go through, I was just never really into it. And a lot of people go into it like with pure pressure. Yeah. Sure, there was like a little bit that I went into, but yeah, I've just always been like, yeah, just not for me, or it's not what I want to do. And I think that's helped, I guess, with the growth of the gym and with just transitioning and changing in my own pursuit of fitness.
There's a confidence that you can't manufacture when you have a strong sense of who you are. And I have a ton of gratitude today for that I have grown into having that quality. As someone who spent most of like my time growing up, even into my 20s, like thinking I knew, but like being completely lost.
Yeah.
And so I would look at people like you, and for the longest time, I'd be like, I can't figure this guy out. It was like, I couldn't understand or even wrap my head around having such a strong sense of certainty and being completely and utterly okay with being who you are all the time, and look, nobody's perfect, but like, you know what I mean? It was so foreign to me.
Yeah.
That it made me uncomfortable. I mean, I always like appreciated it, but I'm like, Yeah.
I gotta take that in consideration. Just everyone's different. upbringing and experiences, because mine was different than that. So yeah, but yeah, that's
what has, dude. So your willingness to explore and to really to put a lot of effort into different modalities. What has that taught you just about training as a whole? Because in my experience, like there are certain things that I've been able to take away from training just by, there was a period of time, like all I cared about was putting on muscle. Like I could totally relate. I was like, the goal is to be massive. That's it. Point blank, period, full stop.
Yeah.
And then I got to that place and I remember being like, I overdid this. And then like the goal was just to be strong. And then the goal, and then like my athletic itch kind of took over. I was like, my goal is to windmill dunk a basketball. And then it was just like, how high can I get my vertical? And then over the past couple of years, it's been like overall athleticism, but the goal really for a year and a half now has been, how fast can I get? I just want to find, like, what can I do? And sometimes I think of like, boy, it sure would have been great if I started this journey at 24 instead of 34. But I've gotten better. I've continued to get better. And in spite of what everyone says, it's just like, well, aren't you a little late to the party? It's like, I don't know, motherfucker. I keep getting better. So I don't know. Am I?
So I'm going to call you out.
Okay.
How much do you weigh?
I weigh 235.
How much faster do you think you'd be if you were 215?
So much faster. I do. Yeah, I do. I think well, you know what?
I'm telling you to lose weight.
No, well, but to that point,
that's hard to be fast at 235.
It is. It is. I think I've maxed out what I'm capable of in terms of, but now I'm being confronted with the thing. It's like, okay, like, I've been chasing all these qualities, strength, being a reactive, plyos, trying to, and, improving my running form, and all those things have been happening. Mm-hmm. But there's this like elephant in the room that is like the extra 25 pounds that I do not need. But I also still like being jacked, dude. I like being big.
Yeah, it's good to have a blend of both. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, but I have thought to myself, I'm like, dude, if I just lost, because my goal is to run 23 miles an hour over 10 yards.
Yeah.
That's it, and of course, I have mono and I haven't been able to train max velocity for weeks. So my first month of training back is going to be very depressing, but, I've gotten so close. I've hit like 22.76 or something like that. And I don't know what I'll do when I get to 23 miles an hour. If I'm not, I'm going to keep trying because it's fun and I'm learning a lot. But part of me also too, like even when I ran that, I was like, dude, do I run 23 miles an hour today if I just lose 10 pounds? It's like, probably actually,
Yeah. And then at that point, it's kind of like, did I really it's just like bench press, like gain 10 pounds of body weight in the next 2 months.
Yes.
And you'll have 10 pounds on your bench easily.
Yes. It's like, so did I get stronger or yeah, exactly. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to know, like, what are some of the lessons that you've learned throwing yourself into these different training modalities, and if there's any interconnectivity or words of advice that you would give to someone for training as a whole with your experience.
I think that I always have to hesitate to fall into the trap of saying like the way I'm training now is the best way, or the way I'm training now is the reason for this and that.
Yeah.
Because like I think that in my 20s, like perma-bulking year round and squatting my freaking face off all the time might be a reason why I've got a decent pair of legs now.
Yeah.
Whereas like it's easy to say like, oh look, I lift and I run and I still have big legs. Or I can I do plyos and I run and I do all this, and like, so it's hard to say like exactly what caused what. Mm-hmm. But I would never deter someone from going all in for something. Like there's people who go to Untamed Strength who are just all in squat, bench, deadlift, powerlifting. Mm-hmm. They do their singles, maybe doubles, maybe triples. They sit down for 15 minutes in between sets. They probably can't even walk a mile. But like, I'm not gonna be like tell them not to do that.
Right.
So really just my advice would be whatever you genuinely want to do, not because someone else wants to do or not, or anything like that, just run with that. If you want to do more athletic training, do that. If you want to just go all in with gaining weight or lifting or powerlifting or bodybuilding, I guess just do whatever floats your boat. I guess the lessons that I've learned, once you really want to change something or incorporate something new, just do it. Don't fight against it. Nothing wrong with switching up a little bit. So,
where does that natural curiosity come from?
I mean, how far back we going?
Take it all the way back if we need to, man. You know?
I think that, so when people will ask me like, what got you into lifting weights? And I'm like, you got like 3 hours to talk? Or so why did you want to open a gym? And I'm like, how much time you got, dude?
Yes.
But if I was to go, a lot of time, I'm a nostalgic dude. And I think that when I think back of like, how everything played out or why I'm doing what I'm doing today or why I am the way I am, I just think about like past experiences.
Yeah.
And what got me here. And so if I go all the way back to like my athletic development, I have 4 brothers. I'm the middle child. I have 2 older brothers, 2 younger brothers. And so I think part of being the middle child kind of developed me into like how I am today.
Yeah.
And as far as sports and athletic activity, my 2 older brothers got into a bunch of trouble when I was young. Mm-hmm. Like especially the one just above me. The oldest one was a little more subtle about it. He would get away with it, but the one above me didn't care. So they were always getting into trouble. Like I'm talking like weed and alcohol. Pretty much.
I would have been hanging out with your older brothers.
So my brother would get suspended from school.
Hell yeah.
My mom would call the principal's office and say, my brother's got weed in his backpack. They'd go take him to the office. A cop would come.
Look him. Yeah.
Yep. He would run away. He would run away from home, and then Lord. Like show up like a week later. My dad would find him, like go out and look for him. My dad would find him under a bridge drinking beer.
Jesus.
Like it's funny that like teenage boys want to like go LARP as a homeless person. But
yeah.
He would do that, And then my parents would call the cops on him.
Yeah.
The cops would come to our house. I remember one time a cop comes in. My brother's playing his electric guitar, plugged into an amp, and the cop walks in the door and he's like, "Hey, can you turn that down, please?" And he freaking turns all the way up. Like,
no way.
He just didn't give a shit, dude. And so anyways, my dad and him would get in fights. Sure. Like I'm sitting there tucked in my bunk bed with my other brother up. And my brother's ass boom, comes through the wall because my dad's wrestling with him. But anyways, because my 2 older brothers got into so much trouble.
Yeah.
My brother was expelled from school. And so it's like, oh, this is your older brother. So you just like, you kind of live behind him,
Yes.
Oh, you're a thrall, So anyways, that scared me straight.
God.
I did not want to be, the cops called on me. I didn't want to go to detention. I didn't want to get suspended. I didn't want to be late for school. Like perfect attendance, straight A student.
Wow.
And I got into sports. And
Yes.
so that, I think that really, like I latched onto that
Yep.
at first, just because like I got to keep doing this. I don't want to get in trouble kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I had played sports. I'd done soccer. I'd done baseball. Not really into it. I just kind of did it because that's what you did, as a kid. But football was my thing. And so I was like latched onto football. And then I got into lifting weights in high school. And I just absolutely loved it. I just loved being the football player. I loved the structure to it.
Yeah.
We had to go to 0 period, 7 a.m. weights every day, just the football team. School, and then we do like film or something like that, and we do practice. I would still go to the gym and lift, and so it was just like my thing that kept me out of trouble.
Yeah,
and I just loved doing that. And so I think because my brothers had scared me straight, this like got me to like stick with this and latch onto it, and I just ended up loving it. Even in high school, like I was pretty good about like staying true to myself. Prom, I'm in a limo with a bunch of other classmates. Everyone is on ecstasy except me. Like that's pretty lame, but like I think back on that and I'm like, I hope my son can like have not that like, he's going to have his own experiences, but I hope he can like at least stay true to himself and not like, give in to stupid shit.
What's so funny is because I would have definitely been the one providing everyone with the ecstasy. And I never ever like pressured people into, because I always kind of knew in the back of my mind, I was like, none of this is good.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have a lot of fun doing it. And
Yeah.
if you want to jump in with the party, by all means.
Yeah.
But I also was so concerned around how everybody felt around me too, very much so. I wanted everyone to have a good time. So even if you weren't involved, hey, don't worry about it. It's all good. But I would have looked at that and I wouldn't have thought much of it, you know, being another kid in the limo, rolling balls, drinking orange juice, and probably chewing on gum or something like that, as you would back in the day.
Yeah.
Or at least others would. I would have. And then, but actually hearing you talk about that, I just have such a profound respect and appreciation for being able to, it's hard to be yourself in a room full of people who aren't.
Yeah. And
it's
brave.
It's courageous.
I think about it, probably wasn't just me, because I think about like my high school football coach, beside from my dad, he's the most influential guy on my entire life. And during your teenage years, when you are the most influenced, I was influenced by him. So he was like, you know, get good grades, show up. You got to like, it was like, he was a lineman at K-State. He had played football before. He was like, it was a perfect high school football coach experience where other people were like, yeah, I got some fat dad who doesn't know how to lift weights.
Exactly.
But this
he
dude,
was
like,
a dude.
Yes, dude. I was like, I want to impress this guy. And so a lot of it was like, I don't want to get in trouble because I don't want to have to report to Coach Grush.
Oh, got it. Got it.
And so a lot of that was like, maybe I was influenced by him.
Sure.
You know, but in a good
In a positive way.
Even a couple of my best friends in high school, they would get in trouble and then they'd have to report back to coach. And so like this would like kind of pull me back away from like, I don't want to do dumb shit. So I got caught in one of them in a brawl, but their thing was, they were like they were like part of this gang. They thought they were in a gang.
Sure. Yeah.
And they would drive around and they'd go provoke like other kids from other schools.
Got it.
Like other territories, you know? And, they'd go provoke these kids and they get in fights. And I got dragged into one of them.
Yep.
My nose like shattered. But anyways, that was a pretty wild fight. But so I'm like, well, I don't want to fight these dudes' fights, you know? And so I stopped hanging out with them so much.
Yep.
And then after high school, they would still do the same thing. And I was like, again, just being like, I got this gut feeling, you know, like, damn, dude, it's 11 p.m. Like, can we wrap it up? Can we just go home? Like, why are we driving around looking for trouble? And, you know, they'd like, oh, Alan, you're being a fucking pussy. You want to go back? You know? And I'm like, dude, can we just like go do something? Can we just go to the like mini mart and like get some Slurpees or something?
Like fucking NCAA or something.
Yeah. Like, do we have to drive around in the dark looking for people to fight, you know? And anyways, so I stopped hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And a lot of this was because I think in the back of my mind, like I care about my football coach. So maybe a lot of it was like influenced by him.
Yeah.
But once we had graduated, I won't go off on a tangent, but those dudes, another thing they would do, one of my friends, this has nothing to do with Coach 'em Up podcast.
It does.
We're just talking, but
no.
So this dude he would speed like 100 miles an hour wherever he could go. And I'd always be like, yo, Mike, hey, slow down, dude.
Yep.
You know, and the same, like, you fucking pussy. You know, I'm like, damn, man. But I was still like, dude, we probably shouldn't be doing this. That dude, I wasn't in the car with him. That dude was speeding around a blind turn.
Fuck.
An old lady was pulling out of a Chili's, and he T-boned her and killed her.
Oh my God, dude.
So that happened first, and I'm like, right there, it kind of like
was it
solidified, like, all right, dude, stay true to your gut, you know? And then my other buddy, two of my other buddies got in a fight. They had weapons.
Yep.
And they got in a fight with, you know, brawl with some guys. I wasn't there because I told them I didn't want to go out. They had attempted manslaughter. Nobody was, but they had like stabbed. They had like a butterfly knife to the back of the head.
Oh, fuck.
And these dudes went to juvie. Thankfully, but they were only 17. So,
sure.
But anyways, just shit like that, dude. And I was like, all right, I'm going to like further go deeper into my own thing.
Yeah.
And so I remember out of high school, before I joined the Marine Corps, I'm working 10 hours a day. I was a painter. I'd paint up on buildings. I'm working. At the time, I was into long distance running. I knew I started work at 6 a.m. I would get up at 3 and go run.
Whoa.
And then go to work, have work all day. And then that's pretty much it. I would just chill. I'd go to church. Like that was just very, very like plain, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And so anyways, I don't even know where I was going with all that.
Well, you know what? But that's interesting because how long did you serve?
4 years.
4 years. Because what I'm hearing a lot is like you have an ability, one, to trust your gut, which, by the way, I've never regretted trusting my gut.
Yep.
I have only ever regretted ignoring that notion and then getting down the line. Very rarely do I ignore what I'm kind of innately understanding is like where I should be and what I should do or a course to take. And if I go in a different direction, it's more often than not, it doesn't go the way I'm pleased with. And again, I've never regretted going with my gut, even if it doesn't initially turn out the way I would have wanted it to. If I give it time, I look back in hindsight and go, and maybe it's just survivorship bias, but I do tend to look back and go, I'm glad that I went with what I felt. But what I'm picking up is that it does really seem like you've gravitated towards structure and you've been willing to watch other people and learn from their mistakes. And I was the opposite. I had to touch the oven. I had to try for myself. I had to. And in your story though, you know what, dude, is like even someone like yourself who was, sometimes you were in those situations that weren't ideal, but by and large, eventually you were able to get to a place where you're like, I'm going to remove myself. But how important it is, and this goes back to the timing aspect, what if you'd been in that car with him?
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
I think about that often.
Yeah. What if the fight you had gotten into where you got your nose busted, one of those other kids that had a knife, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I look back over my own life where I was you know what I mean? Me and my friends were the problem. Yeah. We were constantly in the middle of the fight. My mom's house getting shot up, just people getting stabbed, people dying, whatever, a lot.
Yeah.
And I look back and I'm like, how in God's name did I make it?
Yeah, make it unscathed. Yeah.
How? Yeah, it's so trippy, man. Life is really something that way. But I have a deep appreciation for people like you who are able to do that because it's been a learned quality and a learned skill for me. And it's something that I really cherish today. And there's a word that encapsulates all that: discernment. Fuck.
Yeah, dude.
The fabric of my existence was not shot through into this realm with that quality. Okay. Yeah. It's been a learned trait.
That's good. I think you're doing great, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Zach, what's the best training app on the planet?
It has to be Train Heroic. Gone are the days of sending the old crusty PDF. Now we have a sleek new app.
It's easy to use. There's videos with descriptions. You get to track and log your weight, your reps. There's a community chat function. You can submit videos. You can get feedback.
How about the leaderboard, Tim?
I started using Train Heroic first as an athlete and someone who wanted to learn. Now I use it as a coach. Athletes and other coaches can go and be a part of my training community and get results.
Whether you're an athlete, coach, or just like to train, use the link in our description to find out how you can train on the best app in the world.
And join us on Train Heroic today. Your time in the military, was this one of those things where it's like you kind of had it in your mind all along, or was it something you gravitated towards? Take me through that process, because that's fascinating to me as well.
Yeah. So where I left off with, not doing a whole lot with my life. I was going to a junior college. I was doing this work. I just knew like I need to do something now. I was going to school, but once I would go on a junior college, I was like, what's the point of this? Like before it was like, I play football.
Yep. I'm
going to lift weights to get better at football. I'm going to get good grades so I can keep playing football.
Did you play linebacker?
I was linebacker and running back.
Hell yeah.
And then when I went to junior college, I didn't end up playing football. When I was at junior college, I was like, I cannot go to school and nobody cares. Nobody's going to call my mom, nothing happened. It's just, there's no accountability. I was like, I'm going to these classes. This is really lame. You'd have to, declare your major, and it would always kind of bounce back and forth. I never really wanted to do anything. So I just told myself, what do you like doing? And at the time, and I still do, I loved cooking. And so I just loved cooking on my own, baking, all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, I'm gonna go to culinary school. Okay. And so I got signed up for culinary school. I had kind of went through the whole process of signing up, went to the first day, and then sat there thinking about it. And I said to myself, I'm joining the Marine Corps instead. Yeah, and I remember telling my dad about it because my dad was like helping me.
Imagine a cooking class, and it's like you.
I didn't say it out loud, but yeah.
And then that is the outcome. That cooking class had such an impact on you. You're like, fuck this, dude. I'm serving in the military.
So it was in the back of my head because my brother was my oldest brother was a Marine.
Oh, okay.
And he had
that
joined.
Straightened him out. Or at least got
I'd
him.
say so. Yeah. So, and not the one I was talking about much. My oldest brother was a little better about getting in trouble, but he had joined right after 9/11. So he had the full combat experience and everything, and I looked up to him for that. And so it was in the back of my mind. I also had just kind of like fantasized about the Marine Corps just because could I do it? Could I last in boot camp? What's it going to be like? I knew that it was going to be tough. It was just another challenge for me, and I felt completely unchallenged in my life. And so I had some of that too. And then I had a friend who had also said, let's join the Marine Corps together. And we actually signed up together on the buddy program.
Nice.
Which means you get to go to boot camp together and you're in the same platoon. After that, you might split ways. But
wow, what a great sales strategy for the Marine Corps, by the way. That's pretty goated.
It is. But he ended up backing out.
No.
And so I went by myself. But yeah, so I had wanted to join the Marine Corps because I had no direction. It was a huge challenge for me. It actually, leading up to it, it gave me something to train for, which is a motto that sounds really familiar. Something to train for, but so I had it gave me something to actually train for and work towards. And it was kind of like, I don't know what to do right now. Tell me what to do and I'll do it to the best of my ability. Like give me at least 4 years and then I'll figure it out. And thankfully I did, because I did figure it out after a couple of years. I was like, I'm going to open my own gym. And so I was just lost, needed some direction, needed to be told what to do. And yeah, it was just a huge challenge that I wanted to test myself at. And I ended up doing really well. But yeah,
it's awesome.
That was leading up into going to boot camp. Yeah.
So I would be doing a great disservice not asking this question. What are some of the things serving and being in the Marines taught you? What are some of your lessons? What are the things that you still carry with you today?
I had a unique experience in the Marine Corps. So I joined as infantry, which means you go learn how to shoot. Everyone learns how to shoot a rifle, but you go to war and do infantry stuff, what you would think about with Marines. But in boot camp, I was picked, along with some other guys, I was picked to do presidential security. And so,
oh shit.
So I was sent to DC and then Camp David, which is a presidential retreat. This was during the Obama administration. And so we are essentially guards. We just guard Camp David.
Whoa.
And so that's what I did. So it was like kind of this sub occupation in the military that only a small percentage of people do. A small percentage of Marines do. So I did that. And then after that, you're supposed to go back into what's called the fleet. So you go do Marine stuff.
Okay.
This was when I was at Camp David. That's when I fell in love with lifting weights. That's when I bulked up to 255 was my heaviest. I'm like living, breathing. I was competing in strongman competitions, living, breathing, eating at the chow hall and lifting weights. Like I was able to do that at that job. And I had went to a course called Corporal's Course, where a bunch of other Marines from different areas come together and they do this course. It's like a leadership course. And in that, there was the leader, he's called a guide, of the Marine Corps body bearers. And the body bearers, the Marine Corps body bearers, are some of the biggest, strongest Marines in the Marine Corps. And their job is to carry caskets at Arlington Cemetery. So they perform funerals for fallen Marines.
Oh, wow.
And that's all they do all day. They just perform funerals every day. And so their job is to perform funerals and to lift weights and be huge. That's their job. The funerals, the Marine Corps.
I already got one half of that down.
You'd be good for a body bearer. Your height and your size, you'd be good. Other branches use 8 men to carry the casket. The Marine Corps only uses 6. And then we carry it higher than other Marines. So we carry it up the casket up at head height. And then before putting the Marine down at the ground, we do a head height salute. So we all curl the casket up and hold it. And so it's just above all other branches. Like we take a lot of pride in that. And so anyways, I was at this corporal course. This guide, Marine Corps, Marine body bearer guide sees me and he's like, you think you could pass have you heard of the body bearers? And I'm like, yes, of course. Like I know all about these Marines, like this is what I want to do kind of. Mm-hmm. And he's like, do you think you could pass a strength test? And I said, yep. Didn't even ask what it was. I literally knew what it was, but I said yes. So he's like, all right, when we break for lunch, go downstairs to the gym and we'll do the test. And so I go down there, I'm in my utilities, my camis, just take your blouse off and do the test. And you have to pass the minimum in order to go to Marine Corps or to go to Body Bearer CDS, Ceremonial Drill School, which is the training for that.
Okay.
So anyways, I passed the test, I went to CDS. And so I finished out my contract as a body bearer. So I did presidential security and then body bearer, which are two like very unique things that not many Marines do at all.
That is
the body
very
bearer,
cool.
The body bearer section is like 10 to 15 guys at once in the entire Marine Corps.
Whoa.
And so it's a very small population. So I did that. So anyways, to answer your question about like lessons that I've learned, I'm not trying to bash the military at all or the Marine Corps, but I would say that I learned more about what I don't want to be and who I don't want to be and how I don't want to live my life from the Marine Corps than like other things. People will say like, oh, Alan, I see you work out like 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. Like, did you get that discipline from the military? I'm like, no.
You were doing that in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your discipline to training, was that from the Marine Corps? No. I hear you sometimes say like, sir and ma'am, is that? I'm like, no.
No, it's my dad.
Yeah.
Grew up in the South.
Yeah.
If I said yes, he'd say, yes, what? So shit. Yes, sir. Yep.
Yep. That's it. I strive to be like that as a dad.
Yeah. I struggle with that too. But I mean, even, if I go out to eat and someone's waiting at my table, a guy or a girl, even if they're 10 years younger than me, I can't help myself. They'll be like, is that all? And I'll say, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah. It's polite. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. So anyways, nothing was really instilled in me, I would say.
Yeah.
I just knew getting out of the Marine Corps, and when I decided that I want to open my own gym, I knew that I wanted to be by myself. Like I didn't want to work for anyone.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to work with anyone at the time. I was sick and tired of like pretending to respect and listen and take orders from people that I didn't actually respect.
Yep.
Just because they were higher ranking than me.
Yep. I totally get that.
Or because they'd been in longer than me. Sometimes they were younger than me.
Yep.
But they were one rank higher. So I had to, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. And then it's just the whole concept of like, in college or school, like this team project, you always just end up like disliking the other people for not like helping out or not carrying their weight.
Yes.
And you'd have that in the Marine Corps.
Sure.
In the military. And so I was just done with that.
Yeah.
Getting out of the Marine Corps, getting out of the body bearer section, and again, I'm not talking bad, but just my experience, I feel like I was treated like shit in the body bearer section and teased a lot for a few reasons, but I was teased a lot. And it's just like Chinese water torture, dude, of like just constantly hearing that, just being teased and like, not tormented, but just being teased and like belittled.
Yep.
It's just, and fucked with, yes. It just wore on me. And so I was just like, I'm out to prove something. I want to get away from all this. And so that's really it just built a lot of pressure inside of me to go do something. So that would be like, if I was to say lessons learned, that's how it helped me most.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kickstart a little fire in you there.
Yes. I was, at the time I was 23 getting out, 23, 24. And so just being like so amped up and ready to like prove people wrong or do my own thing or set on my own journey, that definitely helped me start a gym and grind through starting a gym. If I was to erase all of it right now and try to do it again right now.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah.
There's no chance.
It wouldn't be the same.
I'm not even the same person or fire.
Yes.
And you have to have that. Like I wasn't faking any of it. It was there and it was as real as like you are standing in front of me.
Yep.
And if I was to do it now, it would definitely be like, all right, let's grind through this.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like, I'm doing this. It's not a grind. This is what I want to do.
Fuck yeah.
And so again, talking about timing.
I was just
the
about
timing
to say,
of that was just perfect. So yeah.
Alan, I've enjoyed this conversation so much. We're coming up on time. We've got some segments here to round things out.
Let's do it.
Let's start first with 3 things. Sponsorless. Just saying. I mean, I've got some meetings with some companies. It looks like we're going to be taking on another sponsor, but currently 3 things is sponsorless. Just going to drop that out there. So this is brought to you by no one. 3 things, Alan.
I'm predicting what you're going to say in my head. So, but go ahead.
What are 3 things someone who's just starting their training? In fact, let's make this.
I was thinking we were going to go with gym ownership or something.
Well, yeah, I'm going to go professional by and large.
Yeah.
Because you have stood the test of time, not only in your brick and mortar space, but on the online space, right? Both monumental accomplishments, by the way, because there are so many things that can knock you off your game, interrupt your consistency, you name it. So kudos. What are 3 attitudes, philosophies, perspectives, actions that someone who's just beginning their career can take on or prioritize to give them longevity in a field that can break you?
Yeah. Can I twist this a little bit?
Please.
I watched the show, and so I've thought about just kind of anticipating this.
Twist
3
it.
things. But if I was to give 3 things about not just gym ownership, but about maybe being an entrepreneur, which could apply to any sort of adventure you're about to take or journey, I can give 3 things that I think have helped me, I guess, succeed with not only gym ownership, but just being a business owner. Would that be cool?
Please.
So these 3 things, and also with all these like suggestions, I think that it's important to know that like I can just speak on my experience. Everyone's experience is a little different. We've already talked about timing, about direction, stuff like that. But I think 3 things that have really helped me with opening my own business. Start small. I spent my own money. I've only spent my money. I've never taken out a loan. I've never ran up the business on a credit card. But again, this is just my experience. I think that have helped me. I'm not suggesting everyone do that, but start small, spend your own money. Again, no credit cards, no loans or anything. I didn't buy any equipment unless I could afford it. I didn't expand space, get a new lease unless I could afford it. And I think that really helped me not to get buried in, over my head in overhead. So I think that really helped me. And so any business, I guess, start small. And that could pertain to training too. Just figure out this thing you want to do. If it's just like a starting strength barbell training, I need to get stronger. Just focus on that little thing first. But that would be number 1 for business, I guess. Number 2, in my experience, again, just my experience, I think something that helped me a lot is me, myself, and I. I don't say that to be arrogant. Like I have a lot of appreciation for the members. Frankly, if the members didn't come to the gym, I wouldn't have a gym. There have been plenty of members that have donated equipment to the gym, bought equipment for the gym. My girlfriend, who's my wife now, has given me money when I couldn't pay rent. My mom gave me some money 1 month when I couldn't pay rent. So I'm thankful for all that. But going into business by yourself, I think has a lot of advantages. The disadvantages would be that it's just one person. So I don't have 2 ideas. I don't have multiple streams of income. It's also just my boots on the ground. So I can't like, hey, you take morning shift, I'll take evening shift. Nope, you're taking everything. So it's a lot. It's very time consuming. I think being in my 20s was perfect time to do that. But most importantly for that, I don't have to run my ideas by anyone. I don't have to get approval from anyone. I can just take accountability for anything that I do. If I have an idea, I can run with it. I also don't have to listen to stupid ideas. So if someone gave this idea that I wasn't really vibing with, and I'm like, well, they're like part owner in this company, I guess we got to do it.
Got to entertain this.
I don't have to deal with that. And then when I think about the 12 years that have passed, I was not a completely different person, but I was a different person 12 years ago. Just thought differently, and I think about my evolution to who I am now. Not only as a person, but in terms of like my values or priorities, in terms of my family situation. I have a wife and 2 kids now. I got a mortgage payment. That's all changed. I've been able to change the business with that growth. If I was to go in when I was 23 with 2 other buddies, think about those the three of us all moving in different directions
100%.
over 10 years, 20 years, it's hard to keep those core values, or it's hard to keep the goal the same,
Yep.
the vision the same. Maybe someone's heart's not in it anymore. Maybe there's a bad breakup, and it's like, it just crushes and crumbles.
Yep.
So I think doing this all by myself has helped. And then the third thing I would say, which we talked about a little bit, I was all in. I was all in with this business thing and opening a gym. If you told me I had to give every a minute of my day, every penny that I owned, anything and everything, I was ready to give it. And again, that helped me grind through, and I didn't have a plan B. There's nothing else I wanted to do. I think that helped me stick it out for 12 years now. And again, if I was to strip it away and start again today, I'm not willing to start a new gym. I'm not willing to give every penny I have. I'm not willing to give all my time. Like, I'm not willing. I have a mortgage payment and a family. I'm not going to be like, hey kids, we're going to go live at grandma's house because I can't afford, to live anywhere. We're going to eat top ramen today just because dad has this dream of opening a gym. So I'm not willing to do that. But at the time I was. So I think those three things helped me succeed in owning a gym, at least up till now.
Those are hell of a three things segment right there. That last one I love, and the context you provided. This next is Rant and Rave. This is brought to you by Train Heroic. Click the link in the show notes. Join me, join Zach, join so many other coaches and athletes on Train Heroic. It is pretty fucking awesome. Alan, as we look at the landscape of the fitness community at large, what is one thing that you see that you don't love? You'd like to see less of that. That'll be our rant. And then we're going to bring it around full circle and we're going to hit it with a rave. What's something that you're seeing recently that you're like, hey, you know what? I do love that and I'd love to see more of it.
So for a rant.
Yes.
Program hopping.
Ah, solid. And no one has ranted this yet.
Do it. I don't know if you were going to think I was going to say something else, but do it. It's the best. It's fun, dude. Program hopping is awesome. And I say that because we've talked about training evolution. There are always some people, I don't really look at comments often, but some people will like DM or like respond to whatever. And they'll say like something along the lines of like, this dude, meaning me, this dude's doing something every year, something different every year.
Yeah.
Program hopping is so fun. Now, if you have a specific goal, like I want to squat, bench, deadlift 1,500 total, 1,500 pound total. I want to run a 4.540. Yes, you're going to have to do something specific. But if you just want general qualities, like I like being athletic, strong, have some muscle, good body composition, be capable, like a little bit conditioned, there are so many things you can do, and program hop away. Do a program, do another program. Do one of your programs, do one of my programs, do one of Will's programs, do one of Blaine's programs. Just jump around and do whatever you want. You learn a lot when you do that. You can kind of discard what you don't like and keep what you do like.
Preach.
Honestly, it's I'll just leave it there. But program hopping is a lot of fun. And I think that, I guess I'll go into it. So I think that I'll just leave it there. Yeah. I'm keep talking.
I'll pile on. It has been my preferred method of learning.
Yeah, dude. I think it's like condescending, like, oh, this guy's program hopping. But no, sure. If you're like, I want bigger biceps. I did this program for 2 weeks. It didn't work.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, that's different. But
yes,
in terms of like, do a program, do another program, do another more conditioning based, more Olympic lifting based, more power based, strength based. So what, dude? Yep. As long as you're like squatting in some variation once a week or hinging, pressing, pulling, you're good, dude. You're fine. So just adjust the program as you want.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then rave.
Yes.
So you had mentioned something that I'm seeing in the fitness space or social media that I want to rave about.
Okay.
This is actually something that you don't see. And I just want to shout out any dude, any chick who's out there training really hard, having a good time doing it, and not getting all tangled up in a bunch of little details online or questions or optimizing this and that. They just are able to live their life, flip the switch, go train really hard, and then flip the switch off and be done. And then don't get all twisted up with, I got to post all this, or should I be doing this, or should I be doing that? And just getting too wound up in all that. And I'll give you a really quick example. when I was deep into powerlifting, I'm thinking of this one guy in particular. When I was deep into powerlifting and I'd have everything just lined up perfectly, I had my long training ssessions. It's not just one dude, but I think about him. So this dude would come into the gym in Untamed Strength. He'd do some bench press, like close grip, no arch. Wasn't really focused on technique, just benching. He'd go do squats. He'd do 405. He'd squat all the way down, stand all the way up. No belt, no knee sleeves. He'd do a little bit of stuff on the treadmill and be gone. And he'd be like 45 minutes in and out. And I'd just be like, damn, I want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could do that.
Living.
Like, he just trains really hard. He doesn't have an Instagram. He was just a member who just likes training, just goes and trains hard, and then he's done. And I'd just be like, this is kind of what I aspire to be. Like, you can train really hard, have fun doing it, and not get so wrapped up in it. So just rave in those people who were like that.
Shout out not majoring in the minors.
Yeah,
you know, incredible. All right, this next segment is brought to you by David Gray Rehab, more specifically the foot, ankle, and Achilles program, which I've done, helped Zach come back from his insane Achilles rupture, which I have video of. I do one of these days when Zach has healed enough emotionally. We will post the Achilles rupture. Use code TIM for 15% off and lifetime access the foot, ankle, and Achilles program. Alan, if you weren't a coach, entrepreneur, business owner, content creator, if you had to completely remove fitness from your life, what would you be and why?
Never thought about it. I would probably do something with my hands. I would probably do some sort of maybe construction, manual labor. Maybe I'd be a carpenter. I don't know. I like a good piece of wood, but
hell yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'd be. I would have done culinary school.
Well, I was about to say, would you give the kitchen a second chance?
Maybe, I don't know.
Acceptable answer. This next segment is overrated versus underrated. You've done a lot of training in your life. You've had boots on the ground in a gym. You own a gym. You are the epitome of someone who lives life. What are some aspects, some principles around training or training culture, one specifically that is overrated, and then one that is underrated?
I don't know off the top of my head something that's overrated, because like we've talked about, like whatever you're into, just do that thing all in. There's stuff that I see on social media that I think is overrated, particularly with diet. But if I was to give you an answer for that, I can't stand like hacks. Like all this stuff online about hacks, avoid this ingredient, this food,
this is
hack. Poison.
Yeah.
And not really for training, that's fine, but for diet, that is just overrated. And it actually like annoys me. Like I'm at a real world, I'm at a barbecue and this guy's talking about, he was out getting Mexican food and he asked the people, what are you cooking the veggies in? And they're cooking it in canola oil. And I'm like, you got to get rid of those seed oils and
Jesus
this and that.
Christ.
And as he's saying this, cracks open his sixth beer. And I'm like, dude, the amount of beer you drink is far worse than a tablespoon of canola oil in your fajitas.
It's definitely, I've been inflamed lately. My sleep's been shit. Got to cut that cooking oil out.
Yeah, dude.
My
it's
brother
just
in Christ, that's your 8th Budweiser.
Yeah. Another one recently was this dad talking to another dad. I was not in this conversation, but this dad is talking to another dad. This dad had to get a shot, some medical shot. I'm not going to get into it. It wasn't COVID, but he had to get some shot.
Okay.
And the other dad's like, oh, you let him put that in you? And he's like, got his phone up and he's like Googling the ingredients in the shot.
Oh, for Christ's
and he's like trying to read it. He's like, I can't pronounce any. You let them put that in you? And I'm sitting here biting my tongue. I'm like, bro, you smoke cigarettes. But it's just like people that get so focused on dumb stuff.
Yes.
I'm just like,
there's a lack of critical thinking at
Yes.
large, I think, that is a bit of a plague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be the overrated stuff. As far as underrated, it kind of goes back actually to the rant and rave, but about program hopping. So underrated would be enjoying your training.
God,
people will say things like, if you hate doing it, you should do a lot more of it. It's like not necessarily. Like, sure, if you hate exercise, like sorry, I hate to tell you, you got to figure something out. I hate making good food choices. Like you're gonna have to, But as far as like if you hate doing heavy barbell back squats because they bother something, there's 1,000 other things you can do. Like you hate doing heavy deadlifts for whatever reason, do something else. I just feel like, because people will just drag themselves through the mud because they think that on social media, I learned I have to do this.
Yep.
And it's like, you can
read
structure
somewhere
your
that
program.
I have to back squat because it elicits the greatest growth response of any blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. And so you can you can adjust your training to be something that you enjoy doing. If you love running, cycling, and swimming, and you're not really crazy about lifting weights, you don't have to do that much lifting weights. Just go do triathlon training.
Yep.
But I feel like, I'm probably speaking for a lot of people, but I'll speak for myself. My life is, and I'm thankful for this, but my life is a constant to-do list for other people. Being a dad, I got to take care of my kids. I got a relationship with my wife I got to take care of. I got to take care of the gym. I got to get stuff ready for programming for our clients, get ready for this group class. I got to freaking clean the toilet, mop the gym floor so the gym looks nice for people. It's just a constant list of doing stuff for other people. I got to get these emails so I can answer other people's questions. Training should be your time to do whatever the hell you want, just because you enjoy doing it. And if there is any sort of dread in that, and that's kind of what my transition from powerlifting was too, is like, I want to do more stuff other than squat, bench, deadlift.
Yep.
So I'm going to. I have freedom to do whatever I want in the gym. And so training should just be a part of your life that is for you, and you do whatever you want, regardless of what's optimal. Or what people think you need to do. Hey, you probably shouldn't be doing so much running because it's going to hurt. Like, I just want to run. Just leave me alone. So underrated is just enjoying training. All
right, last segment here. This is unsolicited, solicited advice. This is by Aleco. I still can't believe they sponsor us. Shout out Aleco for sponsoring this podcast. Use code CoachHimUp10 for 10% off at checkout. Also very exciting. I think I mentioned this in the previous podcast, but Aleco is doing the complete build out of my gym.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Yeah, 10 squat racks, the turf.
If you can't fit anything, like a squat rack or a deadlift platform doesn't fit, I'll come pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a truck. We'll disassemble
it. Super grateful for Aleco. All right, man. So on your flight back home, you're going to be placed next to somebody. And at some point during that flight, it's usually I don't know about you, but I don't really intentionally engage in conversation with other people on the flight. I like to kind of stay in my zone. But for whatever reason, you feel called, convicted, you have to, compelled, driven, you have to give the person next to you a piece of unsolicited advice. You're just going to lean over, you're going to tap them on the shoulder, and they're going to go, huh, as they pull out their headphone, and you're just going to hit them with it. And it can be about anything, brother. Okay. Training, life, doesn't matter. You're going to give someone a piece of advice. What is that advice?
So before I answer that, a lady said something that just is still bothering me on my flight here. So it was open seating, meaning we didn't have assigned seats, we just had assigned rows. Yeah. And I'm like last on the plane, and the lady, the flight attendant says, there's a middle seat. And she says, "Excuse me, sir, would you like to sit here?" And I said, "That seat looks perfect." And she said, "I think it's perfect for you. You're not a very broad guy." And I was like, put my airbags up, slammed into her as I walked, get away, sit here. So yeah, you're not a very broad guy.
The amount of disrespect, that felt very intentional on her part. Like the whole thing felt like a setup. It's like, look, this guy's pretty jacked. I'm about to take him down a peg. Yeah.
So my unsolicited advice would be, this is for dads. It could be applied to moms too, but I hesitate to give mom advice.
Sure.
Everything you do matters. So what I mean is, we've talked about this a lot, but I think about, especially now in this day and age, if what I'm doing is not productive or it's not making me money, it's in the way. I gotta answer these emails. I gotta create this content. I gotta somehow grow the gym, sell programs, sell merchandise. We just always have to be making more money, right? And so it's just, if this isn't getting me to that goal, it's in the way. And so there are times when with kids, you feel like you have to do stuff, the kids are in the way. Like if they want to tell you a 5-minute story that goes nowhere, they're just making it up off the top of their head.
Yep.
Or if they want to, hey, let's wrestle. Or can you throw me up in the air 10 times? Even though you've already done 100 times. Obviously there has to be a line of you have to work.
Yes.
But once I started thinking about, I would play with my kids, go to the park with my kids, but I'd be like, damn, I have a lot of stuff I have to do. And I can feel the weight of that. It's this dark cloud always following me.
Yep.
Once I realized, hey, just BSing with my kids and doing not a whole lot right now, nothing that actually gets that it seems productive matters, and it is important. I would say it's more important.
Yeah.
And so just being there or just sitting down and like listening to what your kid's saying for 5 minutes matters. And if you think about, I'm going to put all that in my to-do list, not saying you actually have to, but that makes it feel like you've had a productive day. So yes, I might have not answered as many emails, I might have not sold as many programs, or I might have not advertised, or I might have not created content or posted today. But I got a whole lot done with my kids, which matters.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's important. That's been a good shift for me with having 2 kids, is just realizing that, not every day is going to be a money-making day, but it still matters. It's still a good, productive day.
That's very, very, very good advice, and quite timely, because I'm quite possibly the busiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, I coach all her volleyball games. I'm as active as I can be, but there are times where I can feel it and it'll happen in the time I know I'm not present, because I'm answering the DM or the email and stuff like that. So
dude, when you're 55 years old, you can still pursue making $1 million.
Yep.
But your daughter, right, is going to be much older. You won't be able to go to her volleyball games.
That's right.
You know? And I think something has actually been said, like the wealthiest men are in their 50s and 60s just because they don't have kids or
right.
distractions. So anyways, I think about that too. I just think about, like, my life is in chapters. This chapter, I'm a dad of young kids. And I would like to hang out in this chapter because I know I'm going to look back on it and regret it if I was just like, got to answer these stupid ass emails.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not that important. I'm not performing heart surgery on people right now. Like, I'm just literally answering questions. So
that is top tier advice from Alan Thrall. Alan, where can people find you and connect with you?
Untamed Strength on Instagram, on YouTube. The website is trainuntamed.com for anyone happens to be in the Sacramento area and wants to check out the gym.
Alan, I know I've said this already, but I just want to express my gratitude for you being willing to come out here and to travel, and the fact you listen to the show. It means a lot. It's been really wonderful getting to hang out with you and get to know you. Hopefully we'll be able to get to do this again. And at some point in time, if I'm ever out your way, we are going to train together. It's going to happen at some point in time when I have far less mono.
Yeah, I'll come back and try some more barbecue.
Yes.
I got Terry Black's barbecue.
Oh, you did the right thing.
So yeah, I managed to not get any barbecue sauce on my new rads. Yeah, I'll be back.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening and watching. And today was a real treat to hang out with you. And everybody, we will see you again next time. Peace.